What should parents do if you're listening and you're thinking, "I think my child may have more than just sensitivity. I think my child may have more than just, right, anxieties that are manageable. They seem to be really debilitating my child." What should they do then?
Yeah, I do feel like being proactive is the best thing to do. And I'm not saying that just because I'm a therapist. I just think it's a good thing to do, give them those skills. So seek out an anxiety child therapist. You want to find someone who really only specializes in anxiety in a perfect world. For anxiety disorders, not just an anxious, sensitive kid, but an anxiety disorder. I am totally biased, so I'll just put that out there. But I do feel like a CBT therapist, cognitive behavioral therapy, is the best approach. It's evidence based, and you just want to do your research because they're like every therapist out there will say they treat anxiety, but not all of them use evidence based approaches. And so I would get support. And even if your child is not open to therapy, get your own support.
Mm.
Uh, Surround yourself with people who get anxiety because it is highly genetic. And if you're being surrounded by friends and family who are blaming you, even if they're not intentionally doing it, but they're, talking about your parenting, or even if you see a therapist who is focusing on your parenting style and anxiety runs rampant in your family, you want to find an anxiety specialist because we don't need that extra burden of feeling like I caused this when we don't do that for kids who have diabetes. The earlier you start working on it, the better. I think some people don't want to like pathologize it. And so they take a wait and see approach. And you don't necessarily have to go see a therapist. That's
Mhm.
just an added support. If your child's really acute with their issues, it's definitely a good thing to do. But I think getting your child emotionally connected with their body and with their thoughts, their anxious thoughts, is really helpful. And so setting up challenges, like at my house, um, we set up challenges where we have a framework for how to approach anxiety. So if you have a child with an anxiety disorder, you can either get a therapist to do this, or I teach this in my online classes, or it's not rocket science anyway, is just create some sort of framework at home where like we give bravery points. And so it's kind of turning a behavior modification approach in your house. So if my child, and this happens unfortunately multiple times a day because all my kids have anxiety disorders because it's genetic, and they have OCD, so there's a lot going on here. But if my son's having a problem, he might actually even come to me and say, "Mom, I'm afraid to go upstairs," and that's a kind of a common one for him. And so depending on what's going on with him, I might say, "Well, if you can go upstairs and just grab your shoes and come back down, you can earn a bravery point." And so this is how we talk. And so he likes Roblox, and so he wants Robux, and I don't give him Robux. He didn't even get any Robux for Christmas because that is his commodity. And so he earns those only through bravery points. So we
Mm.
have this set up, and it's part of the language of even my 17-year-old is in on that because she'll be like, I wanted her to come and get a Starbucks with me, and she had like cat fur all over her body, and she has an anxiety. She has social anxiety, and she's like, "Well, could I get a point for it?" And it was helpful to know like that's the level of panic she was feeling in that moment.
Mm.
So
Mhm.
I think developing some home behavior plan where your kids
Mhm.
are like earning bravery points, or you have a win board where you celebrate their steps towards things that are scary, like celebrating that bravery and that empowerment is really, really good.
Catch new episodes of the Mindful Mama podcast and other free resources, including the Mindful Mom Guide at mindfulmamamentor.com. You can listen to every back catalog episode, including interviews with Dr. Dan Siegel, Janla Van Zant, Sharon Salzberg, and get meditations, join our private Facebook group, and more. Go to mindfulmamamentor.com now. I'll see you there.